Okay, today we're going to finish up the cross-hatching sphere. So you can see we've already marked our light source, and we've drawn our cast shadow, which is directly across from the light source. Now, cross-hatching on the sphere is a little bit more difficult than blending or hatching was. You can also see, here's a reminder, we're not using the blending stump for this, okay? So I'm going to zoom in so you can see what we're doing. Alright, so I'm going to start out by working on my cast shadow. To do that, I'm using my dark pencil. I'm using an ebony. You can use a 4B or a 6B or an ebony. It doesn't matter. And you're just going to carefully fill in the entire cast shadow. Your lines don't have to go all the way across. You can make them shorter if you need to. You want your lines to be dark and close together. So if you wanted to make this this sphere look like it was sitting on burlap or canvas or something that has a texture, cross-hatching is a great way to depict that texture. You want to make sure you maintain the integrity of the shadow by not getting out of the lines. You don't really want to outline it, but you don't want to change its shape either. So yeah, you just kind of go around it. You don't want to outline it, but because you don't want that outline to show. You can ask things, it's fine. You don't want this outline to show, but you don't want to have like a jagged edge either. Especially not around your sphere. If you leave a jagged edge, that's going to be really ugly. Like you can see right here, this is super jagged right there. Before I continue, I clean that up. Alright, so once you feel like you've got your your cast shadow pretty well filled in, then you're going to work on your sphere. So to do that, I always start with my lighter pencil. I am using an HB. You can use an H or an HB or a number 2 pencil. Any of that is fine. Even a mechanical pencil would be fine. I'm going to press lightly. To do that, I'm holding my pencil further back, because I tend to press hard, and I'm going to just start out just like I did with hatching, where I do curved lines that follow the shape of my form. They get straight towards the center because it's coming towards you, so that's how they would appear if you drew lines on your sphere. Okay, now here's where things get different. Once you have your midtones placed, you're going to start putting in cross-hatching lines which go this way. They will follow the shape of the sphere, but they'll go the opposite direction. So notice they're also curved. It's really important that you curve your lines. If you don't curve your lines and you do it straight, your sphere is going to look flat no matter how nice your shading is. And you can see already, because of the shape of my lines, my sphere is already starting to look three-dimensional. And just right now I am building up my midtones. And I'm even putting lines towards my highlight. They're not going into the highlight, but I do need some midtones near the highlight. To do this without making them too dark, you just press really, really light using the light pencil and make sure that they're not inside that highlight. Now we don't use a blending stump for this, so every line you make needs to be where you intend it to be. You don't want to be sloppy or just scribble it in. If you scribble it in, it's going to look like it, and you'll be dissatisfied with your outcome and dissatisfied with your grade. Alright, so this looks great as far as midtones go. So now I'm going to mark my highlight. I'm going to mark my midtones. And I'm going to start working on my my core of shadow. Remember that I have to leave a little bit down here for my reflected light. So I'm just going to get started with my dark pencil. I'm using an ebony, and I'm going to make my core of shadow now. Remember, it's a crescent shape, and it'll kind of be like in this general area. That will be darker than everything else. So here I go. Remember, towards the center, they face you. They are straight. And towards the edges, they always curve towards facing whatever edge that they're, whatever edge that it's curving towards. And I'm just going to keep working on my lines. Right now, all I did was my hatching. I did not do my cross hatching yet. So I'm going to go back and work on that. I find that cross hatching is the most difficult of all of the shading techniques to do, mostly because it takes a lot of concentration to get the lines in the correct place. And because if you don't get them in the right place, it's really easy to screw it up. And the cross-hatching can be one of the most successful shading techniques to make your object look three-dimensional. Alright, so now I have my core of shadow in. It looks a little shiny on your page, but over here, I think you can see it a little bit better now. It's really pretty. It looks three-dimensional. And I've left my reflected light in, so I'm going to label those. This is my core of shadow. And this little sliver of light down here is reflected light. Remember, that's the light that bounces off the table and back onto the object. Okay, and when you're done, it'll look like that. Notice I have a range of tones. I've got my highlight, which is white. I've got midtones. I have all the midtones. I don't just have like one or two of them. I actually have like, number 2 and number 3, number 4, 5, like true black, and then maybe this is like, about 3. So I have a full range of tones, and true black and true white. If you wanted this to really look three-dimensional, you would start shading the background now, and it'd really make it pop. Alright, on to our next video. We will do stippling.